Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Live. Welcome to the program on this morning. Before I begin talking about today's topic, I'd like to say that there are many other stories in the news outside of politics. So, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be talking about some of the other relevant news stories and things that are happening in the nation and around the world as well. And I'll continue to bring political commentary and coverage and analysis about the two campaigns, two contrasts, the different contrasts between the two campaigns and visions and directions that Trump and Kamala Harris wants the nation to go into. So, having said that, I found an interesting article reported by ABC News entitled University of Virginia Suspends Tours Under Fire for Mentioning Thomas Jefferson's Slavery Ties. The Jefferson Council alumni group had opposed University Guide Service volunteers for mentioning that the school's founder was a slave owner. Let me just say this whitewashing of history and trying to eliminate Americans' past is not going to work. Not only was Thomas Jefferson a slave owner, but Thomas Jefferson had an adulterous affair with Sally Hemings, and he fathered between 5 and 6 children by Sally Hemings while he was alive. And in examining Jefferson, yes, he should be credited greatly for the Declaration of Independence and all these great things that he did. No one is going to take his place in history concerning the Declaration of Independence, and you're dealing with the Constitution of the United States of America, especially the Louisiana Purchase that America's third president, which Thomas Jefferson was, he was responsible for the Louisiana Purchase. No one is going to discredit or trying to besmirch his character or trying to eliminate the great things that he did as an enlightenment thinker, a prolific writer, a great orator, and etc. But you got to deal with facts. Facts are facts. So according to NBC News, the University of Virginia suspended a campus tour program that had been criticized for citing school founder Thomas Jefferson's ties to slavery, officials said Friday. The tours led by University Guide Service have been plagued by spotty attendance by student volunteers and issues with, quote, consistency, close quote, in content. University officials said in a statement to NBC News, the school has been in close contact with the student-led University Guide Service for 2 years to address a trend of issues and concerns surrounding guide attendance and tour consistency, and to discuss plans for improvement, University of Virginia said in a statement. The Jefferson Council, a conservative alumni. Key word is conservative. There's nothing conservative about MAGA. There's nothing conservative about the Republicans at this point in time. So, the Jefferson Council, a conservative alumni group, had been calling for an end or change to the tour program, insisting that volunteers had been wrongly besmirching the legacy of UVA's founder. No, they were not. It is a stipulated fact that Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. George Washington, America's first president, was a slave owner. The notorious racist, bigoted Andrew Jackson was one of the cruelest slave owners that ever lived. And not all slave owners were cruel. Not all slave owners were mean, but slavery was slavery. You know, you cannot erase history. Just like it is a stipulated fact that Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated on April 4th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. The revisionists of history, no, you're not going to try to write a different narrative. He was assassinated. Point blank. There was a trial. James L. Ray was convicted for the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. These are stipulated facts. John F. Kennedy was assassinated Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. These are stipulated facts. And many times, when the so called revisionists of history are writing, they want to portray people in the most positive light. An autobiography is different from a biography. The autobiography is authored by the individual. The biography is written by historians. So the Jefferson Council, a conservative alumni group, had been calling for an end or change to the tour program, insisting that volunteers had been wrongly besmirching the legacy of UVA's founder. The university statement did not cite the Jefferson Council's ongoing campaign against university guide services, of course not. And UVA spokesperson Benitha Glover went a step further, adding that this isn't in direct response to any criticism from the Jefferson Council. This is more to do with the guides not showing up for their scheduled tours. That's a lie. Just like when individuals are fired from jobs. I don't forget about this force about laying off, downsizing. It means firing, especially when they're unjustly fired, like whistleblowers. Whistleblowers, those who talk about the wrongs that are going on within corporations, are always hounded, they're harassed, they're made to look like they're imbecilic and fools, but they're speaking pertinent facts. And I've read many things about Thomas Jefferson, autobiographies and biographies. History is history. America can never get away from its original sin, which was slavery, incepted from its beginning and backed up and taught by white religion, who enforced slavery from their pulpits. Many of the preachers were slave owners and had slave concubines. Many of the founders of so-called religious universities were slave owners. So these are stipulated facts. Nevertheless, the alumni group's president claimed victory on Friday. Council President Thomas Neal, a 1970 UVA grad, said this group helped push Governor Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, to place 13 appointees on the university's 17-member governing board of trustees, which led to this action. Quote, so yeah, we raised the issue, and now that they have 13 appointees, and not all of the Youngkin appointees are homogeneous. Some are fairly moderate. But all of them looked at this and said, this has to change, Neal said. Neal insisted his group doesn't want a whitewashing of Jefferson's status as a slave owner, but a greater contextualization of America's third president and Declaration of Independence author, as he should be given credit for, because he did write the Declaration of Independence. He insisted that it should be taught that Jefferson signed into law in 1807 the prohibition against the importation of slaves. The prohibition was poorly enforced, doing little to end the institution of slavery until the Civil War and President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. There was a book entitled Forced into Glory by LaRon Bennett, Ph.D. He was one of the historians of the Johnson Publishing Company, aka magazines. And the book is entitled Forced into Glory, Abraham Lincoln's so-called Emancipation Proclamation. I read the book. It's over 300 pages long, and it's an enlightening story to read. Jefferson quoted, by every country in the modern era having started a democracy, Neal said. There are many commendable things about him, of course, mentioned. He was a slave owner. That's not hidden. In statement posted to social media on Wednesday, University Guide Services said it hopes to work with UVA administrators to restart tours by spring 2025. These tours, though, must share an honest and completely account of UVA and its history. To our stakeholders, collaborators, community members, and fellow students, we are deeply sorry that we cannot fulfill our mission to the fullest extent this semester. University Guide Services said, while these months will undoubtedly look different, we hope to continue collaborating with all of you to share those stories of the school throughout the fall. And University of Virginia is a great school. Many people have gone there, they've graduated. I'm quite sure they said great things about the founder, which was Thomas Jefferson, but you got to tell the whole story. I was talking to a couple of friends of mine earlier today before coming before the camera, and I told them if a story's ever written about me, a biography or autobiography, tell it all. If you're going to write about me, tell it all. Tell the good, tell the bad, tell the not so good, tell the ugly, tell everything. I would not allow anything to be written about my life unless the whole story was told. That's called history. And when the revisionists of history are always attempting to whitewash, like Governor Ron DeSantis down in Florida, it's okay to legalize recreational marijuana, which Trump supports, because he thinks he can get a lot of black votes that way. But it's not okay to teach, quote unquote, woke history. Well, we are woke, DeSantis. We're woke people. We're not a stupid people. We're not ignorant. Many of us are highly intelligent, more intelligent than you are. And all your posturing and hiding behind your steroid-injected bodyguards is not going to stop the fact that we're going to continue to tell our story here in America. We don't need white media to speak for us. We speak for ourselves. We will tell our story. We will tell our children and our grandchildren. We will write about it. We will videography it. We will make sure that the preservation of the black pilgrimage here in the United States of America from the deep segregated South is told. We're going to talk about it through things like Eyes on the Prize. And many great books have been written by great black people. And we're going to continue to be enlightened. We're going to continue to be woke. And we're not going to allow any racists, any bigots, any Nazis, or any Nazi-loving, Klan-supporting candidate to stop us, the descendants of Africans who were brought to this nation in chains, in shackles. Go to the Smithsonian Institution and you will see all the artifacts from the remnants of slavery that are preserved. You cannot negate facts, no matter how much you try. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.